Well, good afternoon, everybody, and aloha. You know, the word historic gets thrown around on occasion, and I'm not denying that there are historic moments, but this is definitely a historic moment, the completion of phase one, segment one, rather, of our first phase of the rail. And so for those of you who are here today, for those of you who have a long history with rail, okay, I want to acknowledge you and congratulate you, because this has been a journey since 2005. But I would tell you, since we came into office in 21, January 2nd of 21, and where we were at that moment in time, and what we were facing in the middle of a pandemic, with all of the uncertainty, to be able to be here in front of you today, 2.5 years later, knowing full well that we're about to begin operations at the end of this month, knowing full well the reaction of the media yesterday who went out there and, to their surprise, experienced something that I think exceeded most of their expectations. You know, I would tell you that this is a great moment for our city. And this wouldn't be happening, and they're all going to come up here and talk, and I'm not going to say much more, but I put a real premium on leadership. When we came in, I had a conversation in December before we were sworn in with the outgoing FTA administrator, and her challenge, her name was Jane Williams, her challenge to me was, first and foremost as an incoming mayor, was, Rick, I can tell you got a lot of issues to deal with out there, but the very first one you need to deal with is you got to get your act together. You've got to get people on the same page. You've got to get people who are willing to work together, who bring expertise and leadership, you know, all those other things that turn ideas into reality. And I would tell you that's one of the things that we did get done. And so I'm so proud of that. I want to acknowledge Lori Kaikina. I don't think I could say enough about her and her leadership. And to her deputy, Rick, sitting right next to her, Rick, but yes. Okay. I don't think I could say enough about Colleen Hanabusa and what she brought. And I don't think I could say enough about Roger Morton and my confidence in him as we get ready to hand him over the keys. Okay. But really it goes beyond that, right? It goes to the whole HART board. It goes to all of your team at HART. It goes, I just saw Tommy Waters walk in. It goes to our city council that helped us. It came through with a collaboration from a lot of people who I think at the right moment in time, ironically enough, in the middle of a pandemic, understood our responsibility of what needed to get done for this city and to make it happen and turn it into a reality. So I also want to just say on a very personal level, I can't say enough about Mike Formby. Because Mike Formby, for me, not only is managing director, but his knowledge of this project and the earlier on conversations we had, for me, was a real North Star on what to look at and how to look at it. So I'm just here today. We've got a proclamation up here declaring today, June 9th, is rail phase one, or segment one completion day, but it says a lot of nice things in there. I'm not going to do that. I really want to hear from the principals that are going to speak, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and sign this and make this happen. But I just want to tell all of you who are fortunate enough for all of us to be together in this auditorium today, we are in a historic moment, and I'm damn proud of it, and I'm damn grateful to all of you who made it happen. Thank you. And just the first paragraph simply says, on this day, the Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation, HART, hereby confirms that all essential construction has been completed for the initial operating segment of the Honolulu Rail Transit Project, and it goes on. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring up Colleen Hanabusa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and yes, it is a historic moment. For me, it's sort of bittersweet. The last time I signed something like this for rail was in 2012, and it was the full funding grant agreement ceremonial, basically signing. I remember the date, December 19, 2012, because it happened 2 days after the passing of Senator Daniel K. Inouye, which was a date that I'll never forget, December 17, 2012. And to be here to sign this proclamation, where you see the transfer, and it is the transfer of this project from HART to the city, is really an amazing event. For me, it also is a different kind of feeling, because sitting next to the mayor is my former chief of staff, none other than Michael Formby. And we had a very interesting ride, quote unquote, no pun intended, on rail and getting it through. Michael was there when we did Act 1. So I am one of those people with historic knowledge. I was in the state senate in 2015, when the first GET on this particular project was passed. Then, of course, I was in Congress when the full funding grant agreement was agreed to. And I was on the HART board also after that. I'm one of the, somebody told me, what's the matter with you? Why would you go back twice? And I said, that's a good question. Why would I go back twice? I chaired the board in 2016, returned to Congress in that year. Mike came with me. And we then saw the full, basically Act 1 was required at that time too, to see this project through. That, without Act 1, then those naysayers on Middle Street may have actually won, because that's really what it looked like in terms of the financing plan. So here we are today. We've done the recovery plan. We're waiting for the amended full funding grant agreement. But more importantly than that, we are here because of what the people of the city and county of Honolulu decided in 2016, is that the operations and maintenance of rail will transfer to the city through DTS. And this is where the mayor is so fortunate. He has Michael Formby not only as his managing director, but somebody who was also the head of DTS, somebody who's very intimately knowledgeable about how it operates. But I have been very fortunate, and I know we have 2 board members here that I'd like to acknowledge. Kika Bukowski. Kika, if you could stand. He is, whether he likes it or not, he's the oldest serving member on our board, not age-wise, of course. And next to him is our favorite. We call him our Pollyanna because he is, that's what he calls himself. And he is Anthony Alto. Anthony, will you please stand? And Anthony is called our Pollyanna because he is somebody who will never give up on rail. Never give up on rail. And so he is somebody that we've asked to look, as the board, we've asked to look at, okay, Ala Moana and beyond. What is the future of rail? And that is what Anthony is tasked with. Is there any other board members who snuck in that I don't know? By the way, Tommy Waters, they are your appointees, so you should be very proud. The mayor gets to claim me, poor thing, but you're Tommy's. And so, you know, without a board like what we had, a board that really, really worked hard. I've never seen a board that's worked as hard as they have. I have to go around reminding people, they're volunteers and they're not paid. And yet they haven't kicked me out yet because I forced them to do all these things, and they willingly, whether it's the 3% TAT, which Tommy asked the board to spearhead, which we did, and we created a pig on that, or whether it was the recovery plan pig. They are always there, and they never grumble. And it just amazes me. The unsung heroes, to me, are the board members, because they have made this whole thing possible. We're a board. We're a majority rules in a board. Everyone has to have some sort of consensus. And the one thing that has brought us together, Mr. Mayor, is everyone's dedication to this project, to you to see the success, the city and county of Honolulu, and of course to Laurie and Rick. Yes, we fight. Believe me, it's not a rubber stamp board. We fight. But I think the product that we get in the end is something that has brought us here today. So thank you all very much. Thank the board, thank Mr. Mayor, thank HART, thank DTS, and of course, our other board member, also an appointee of Tommy. Boy, Tommy, you can get all the accolades, you and your council members. Robert Yu. So we have an amazing group of people. And Robert was working for HART before. So when Act 1 was being done, it was Robert who Mike Formby and I were in contact with. Because he was the one who we would say, okay, we think these numbers don't add up, crunch it. And he would crunch it. So this is what it takes. If anyone asks me, what did it take to get this to where we are today? And I would say, this time, the stars all aligned, and we were in the right places at the right time. Yes, we struggled, but that's always going to happen. But here we are. So thank you all. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to everyone for making it all happen for us. And now it's my pleasure to...
John Nouchi, how could I overlook you sitting right in front of me as I was giving Roger the praise here? But, you know, this is a, I swear he knows the name of every street on this island. This is a transportation guy extraordinaire. But no, we're going to have actually Chair Waters come up first before Laurie and Roger, if you don't mind. So, Tommy, you're up, sir. And I also want to echo, yeah. But as mayor, I would be remiss in not handing the microphone over to Tommy, that when we talked about everybody working together, getting our city council, getting Tommy his leadership, and getting that cooperation, collaboration, that shared vision was essential to get to where we are today. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Aloha, everyone. I just want to take an opportunity to introduce our transportation chair, Tyler Dos Santos Tam, former transportation chair, now budget chair, Radiant Cordero, as well as Matt Wire, our housing chair. But this really is a great project, you know, from the beginning. It's going to be transformative. I really believe that. And congratulations to all of you in this room, because you all had something to do with this. You really did. But it also took good leadership, and thank you, Mayor, and Mike Formby, for being the steersman and the coach. I know you were referred to as a coach earlier today, and I agree. It takes good coaching and leadership. Hanabusa, you are fantastic. Colleen Hanabusa leading the board, right? And by the way, thank you. Those were city county, the council appointees that you mentioned. But thank you guys for your leadership as well, because this wouldn't have happened unless you had strong leadership, willing to stand up and say, we're not gonna fail. We're gonna get this done, right? I was in the ocean yesterday paddling canoe after a long council hearing that went 13 hours, by the way. I don't know if any of you saw that. But I was telling my teammates in the canoe, when you paddle, you gotta dig deep. You gotta dig deep and pull all your might, right, to get that canoe to move forward. And that's what you guys did. You guys dug deep and you pulled all your might. But the finish line is still over there. We got 2 more segments to go. So keep digging deep, keep working hard, because it's gonna make a difference in people's lives. I know it will, right? Not only alleviating traffic coming from FA side, but also we're gonna start building houses around TOD, around the train. So people don't need to have a car, so that they don't need to hop on the freeway. you can get to town like that. Looking forward to the opening, and thank you all. Thank you, Roger and Lori Kaikino. I'm talking about digging deep and paddling hard. These two do exactly that. But anyway, I want to just offer, if that's okay, if any of the other council members want to say a few words. All right.
Well, thanks, Chair. I would just add, today is really about the big picture, but as Tommy said, we also need to dig deep, and we on the council, and I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues here, there is still a lot of work to be done, and we are going to be good partners in that effort. We just passed Bill 32, which is the rules for how passengers are going to operate on rail. There's a lot more ahead of us, but we're going to be a partner every step of the way on this because rail has to succeed, and you all are a big part of making that happen, so thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that and say mahalo for all the work of everyone in this room. And I'll be there when it opens. I'm excited. I have a constituent that turned 102 this month, or in May actually. And that was one of her goals, was to ride rail. So we'll be excited to be there with her and the rest of the community. So mahalo again.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Radiant Cordero, and I get to have 2 rail stations in the first segment. So I'm very excited. And I get to have a community that has been waiting for this for so long, whether they were Filipinos for Rail, Kalihi for Rail, rallies at Farrington for Rail or at Radford. Just know that just as much as you all were digging deep and persevering, and that there were very many loud people who were naysayers, like Colleen mentioned, as Chair mentioned, I just want to say that there will be so many people, and for years to come, that will really, truly benefit from all of this. So I really appreciate each and every single one of you. If you've touched this project in any way, shape, or form, or continue to support it, or just are curious about it. So thank you all again, and I can't wait for June 30 and July 1. Thank you.
When we were putting our cabinet together in November and December of 2020, and looking through the people who were applying for jobs, I was really shocked, if you will, surprised is an understatement, that Roger Morton applied to be the head of Transportation Services, because I had known of Roger in my former life and the incredible work and how highly he was thought of as a consummate expert on transportation on this island, and running the bus for all that many years. So knowing that, and knowing that someday if we could ever get to a moment in time like this, it would be the handoff from HART to the city, we could not have been more fortunate to have somebody the caliber of this man to take over the reins. So, Roger Morton.
Thank you, Mayor. This job would not be nearly as much fun if I wasn't working for a great leader like yourself. I've enjoyed myself in the past 2.5 years and look forward to many more years. This is really more than just a bureaucratic transfer of assets from one entity to another. This really fulfills a 50-year promise to the people of Oahu that we were going to put in a rail system. This transfer ushers in a new era for balanced transportation on this island. And speaking for DTS, I must say I'm very proud of our staff. Having John Nucci as my deputy, having Patrick Pusher and the rest of our rail team have been working very, very hard for the past 3 years to make this transfer and this system possible. I couldn't ask for a better team than the team at DTS that I've been really blessed to work with. Speaking as a HART board member, yes, I'm one of those too, Colleen. I must say, I have to echo what Colleen said about the hard work that the board of directors for this system has put in. It's taken a while for all of us to get to know each other. Even on the board, it's not always a unanimous thing, but I think at the end of the day, every member of the board tries to do what's best for the people of Honolulu. And speaking for myself as the director of DTS, I pledge to be a good steward of this new system so that all of us on Oahu can be proud that we're going to be operating the most advanced transit system in the country. And I urge everybody on Oahu to come and to try out the new system. We're going to be planning a fun 4th of July long weekend. Transit will be made available for all of our residents, will be free. And I, for one, I urge everybody, I don't care where you come from, if you're in the rail area, if you're in Hawaii Kai, if you're on the windward side, please come and try the system, because as others have said, when you get on that system and you actually see it, it is awe-inspiring. At this time, I want to call up my partner for the past 2.5 years, Lori Kahakina, the Executive Director of HART.
Well, today, as everyone before me spoke, this is a very momentous day. We actually thought this was going to be a very small ceremony. I actually don't have a speech prepared, so it was just supposed to be Mayor, Chair, Roger, and I signing, but it was actually Mayor's office, Scott and Ian, saying, no, this is a big deal. We need to invite everyone. As Chair mentioned before, we wouldn't be here today. Many times when I'm speaking in the media, I talk about all of the relationships that HART prior, it was a little rocky, but where we are today, the relationships with many of our stakeholders, the mayor, administration, all of your directors, they've helped us so much. The board, of course, yes, as Chair has said, they beat us up a lot, but that's okay, just keeping us honest. And whether it's the state, the legislators, FTA, the delegation, everyone has helped us so much, and I recognize them. I try to recognize them as best I can, but today, this morning, the reason I'm so dressed up, I never wear leis and never wear hakuleis, so I didn't dress up for this ceremony. We had our HART Ohana Day. We've had employees, as Mayor mentioned, work for us 10+ years. Some just started a couple of weeks ago, but many of them have worked for many years behind the scenes, have never been on the train before. And before we handed over the system to DTS, we wanted to thank them. Thank you for everything that you have done to get us here. The speeches that I gave this morning to the families of the HART team is just thank you for putting up this. Been so much negativity tied to this project and what you've had to deal with. My family has had to deal, and I've only been here 2.5 years. The media, fairly, rightfully so, it can be kind of mean. And then the social media can be mean. And it affects our families. And so for our families that had to put up with it, I've had employees admit to me they're embarrassed to say that they work for HART, but not so anymore. 2.5 years later, fast forward, they're very proud. They brought their families on the train this morning, and to see the smiles on the faces of the families and our own employees, it was very touching. And so, Rick, that was your idea, so thank you for that. And I see Cor in the audience. Said, not sure that's a good idea. Okay, thank you. It's like, I'll get in trouble later, but it was worth it. It was worth it today to see the smiles on their face and just really thank the HART Ohana and their Ohanas. And DTS, thank you for being such a good partner. We wouldn't be here today. And Hitachi, I think I've been pretty public about you folks. We've like the board beats us up, we've been beating you folks up for the last many years, but you folks came through for us. You pulled through for us in the trial running and beat I always said I thought it was going to be 45 to 60 days, but you did it in 35 days, and thank goodness you did it on April 2nd and not April 1st. Everyone would say, nah, you guys didn't pass it, but thank you. But momentous day, and I've asked a lot that, okay, you folks are handing over this first segment to DTS, what are you going to do? You need a job? And I said, no, we still have segment 2 and segment 3 to take care of. So as Chair has said, Council Chair has said, we still need to put the oars in the paddles in the ocean and get us to the second segment and third segment and beyond. That's why Chair has put up a pig. We have to get to Ala Moana. We have to get to UH. And we do have to get further past East Kapolei. I would love, Anthony mentioned, months ago when we were doing the recovery plan. Get a spur to Mililani. We have to do it. I live Windward side. I would love it if I could catch a train from Kaneohe to town, but today is just about you folks, Heart Ohana. Thank you. Thank you so much for getting us to this. I know it was painful, but we made it. We made it, so congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. In my excitement, I'm sorry, Mayor, did you want to, in my excitement, I forgot to, so you parents, you have teenage kids that are starting to drive when they're 15, so HART has the keys to the train here, and I'm ceremoniously handing it over to Roger. Roger, please take care of our baby. We want it filled up, full tank of gas, electricity, right? Clean inside and out, take care of it for us. Thank you.
And Lori, I have something for you too. Now that you've finally given the train to DTS, and I can't wait to get out on the open alignment, but I did want to make sure that you also get a holo card so you can ride the system.